I always got a weird feeling from Ryan, but I never expected to see my baby photos saved on his phone. I'm Camille, I'm 26. And I swear to God, I am not the paranoid, overprotective, jealous little sister everyone in my family seems to think I am. But apparently, that's exactly how I come off. Even when I'm right. Especially when I'm right. Ryan is fine. Like surface level fine. He's tall, he's nice enough. He has that tech bro who started therapy once vibe that my sister Melanie finds irresistible. The first time I met him, he smiled too much and touched my arm when he talked, which no thanks. He brought up cryptocurrency at Thanksgiving. He offered to fix my posture while I was doing dishes. He once told my mom she looked like a French Meryl Streep. You know, that kind of guy. Something about him always felt off. But every time I said that out loud, my sister would roll her eyes and say, "You always think everyone's a red flag." No, Mel. I don't think everyone is a red flag. Just the man who kisses your neck while staring over your shoulder at me. He proposed last December. She said yes. Cue tears, champagne, and the beginning of my living nightmare. Because when someone gives you the ick, watching them be accepted by everyone you love. It's like screaming into a void where everyone's clapping. I kept my distance. Was polite. Didn't start drama. Even when he started calling me Cammy, a nickname I haven't used since I was 6. Even when he followed every account I tagged in my Instagram stories, including my college roommate, my tattoo artist, and my ex. Even when I walked into the kitchen one night and caught him going through our family photo albums alone. Just reminiscing, he said with a smile. Sure, because nothing says nostalgia like staring at a 6-year-old's ballet recital photos at 11 p.m. But then, 2 weeks before the wedding, we were at my parents' place for dinner. Everyone was in the backyard. Ryan's phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. I didn't mean to look. I really didn't. But the screen lit up with a notification that said, "Album Cammy updated." My stomach dropped. First of all, who the hell uses baby emojis in private folders? Second, my name. I glanced around, no one was watching. I picked up the phone. It wasn't locked. There were 117 photos. Of me. As a baby. As a kid. From Instagram. Screenshots from Facebook. A few taken from what looked like family videos. And then something else. Still shots. Of me walking through my apartment hallway. The camera angle was weird, low, distant. Like from a security feed. One was from outside my door. Another from inside my building's laundry room. My ears were ringing. My vision blurred. I felt like I was going to throw up all over the kitchen floor. My baby pictures. My home. On his phone. Saved under a folder with hearts and bottles. And no one had ever believed me when I said there was something wrong with him. He walked into the kitchen as I was holding his phone. I didn't say anything. Just looked at him. He smiled. Tilted his head. Looking for something, Cammy. My fingers were shaking so hard, I nearly dropped the phone. You have photos of me. Of course, your family. I showed him one. The one from outside my apartment. He didn't blink. I had to check on you. You've been acting unstable lately. Unstable. I walked out. Told no one. Not that night. Not the next. Because what do you say? Hey, your future husband has a digital shrine to me, including surveillance stills, and he called it Cammy. Right. They'd call me jealous. Crazy. Obsessed. Like always. So I did what any woman with nothing left to lose would do. I started planning. Because his wedding was about to become his funeral. Socially speaking, you ever scream in a room full of people and still feel like no one heard you? That's what it's like having bad vibes about a man everyone else calls perfect. Let me tell you a bit about my family. We are loud. We are close. And we are chronically forgiving of charming men with shit intentions. My mom thinks manners equals morals. My dad thinks if a guy knows how to shake your hand right, he must be fine. And my sister, Melanie, falls for charisma like it's a gravitational force. She sees red flags as personality. We weren't always this way. Our family used to be tighter, smarter. Or maybe I'm just nostalgic. But something about the last few years, maybe it's everyone being exhausted by life, made them lazy about intuition. Mine never stopped working. I don't say this to sound psychic. I say it because I notice everything. Micropauses, tight jaws, people who speak too softly when they're lying. And with Ryan, it was all off from day one. The first time I met him, he reached for a hug and pulled me in. Too close, too tight, held it a beat too long. He laughed at my discomfort. Said, "You're tense, we'll fix that." Fix? Me? I brushed it off. Told Mel. He's got boundary issues. She laughed. You've got trust issues. Same old song. He inserted himself into our group chat in week 2. Started commenting on everything I posted. Heart eyes on a selfie. Fire emojis on an outfit. Once replied, "You should wear that dress to my wedding, wait, too hot." I showed it to Melanie. She called it teasing. I called it a red flag with Wi-Fi. Then came the dinner at our parents'. I'd cooked. He offered to help clean up. Stood behind me at the sink for 10 minutes. Didn't touch me. Didn't say anything wrong. But hovered. Like a predator pretending to be a sous chef. I told Mel later. That man gives me the creeps. She sighed so hard it could have powered a wind turbine. Cam, every time I find someone good, you do this. You find a flaw, you find a vibe, you find a reason to hate them. I wanted to scream. Because I've been right before. But I didn't. Because last time I said something like this, years ago, about another guy she dated, our family almost split in 2. She accused me of jealousy. Said I ruin men for fun. So this time, I shut up. Until the phone. Until that goddamn notification. Cammy. I still get chills just typing it. After I left the kitchen that night, I barely slept. I tried to screenshot everything from his phone, but my hands were shaking too much. I only got 4 pics. 1 from my hallway. 1 from a mirror selfie I posted years ago. 2 from old family albums. Not enough to go full nuclear, but enough to know I was done waiting for proof. I didn't need evidence to know he was obsessed. But I needed impact. So I started building it. I went to Mel the next day. Tried to speak gently. Has Ryan ever shown you that folder on his phone? What folder? The one with my name and baby emojis. She laughed. Laughed. You're joking. I'm not. I saw her face shift from amused to annoyed. Camille, you seriously can't stop. He's stalking me. He's marrying me, and you can't stand it. And there it was. That old wound. That old script. I was the dramatic one. The emotional one. The girl who couldn't stand not being the center of attention. Except this time. The center was surveillance footage of me. I left. Blocked her. Blocked him. Blocked my entire family for 48 hours because I needed a blackout to think. Then I remembered something. Ryan had shown a slideshow at their engagement party. Photos of their vacations. Childhood clips of her. But when I played it back in my head, there was one shot. Barely a second. A beach photo. Of a little girl in a red swimsuit. Not Mel. Me. He'd already been testing the waters. Slipping me into public view. And no one noticed. Not even me. So I made a plan. The wedding was a week away. It was at a vineyard. They rented a projector for a memory reel. Mel wanted everyone to cry over their love story. Instead, they'd cry for a different reason. Because I was going to play his version of family. In front of everyone. You think the hardest part is being right. It's not. It's knowing the people you love will still choose the lie, even after you show them the truth. I've never been so tired in my life. Emotionally, mentally, down to my cells. Because once you know you're the only one who sees the fire, and everyone else is still dancing around it like it's candlelight, you stop waiting to be rescued. And you start getting ready to burn things down yourself. For 3 days, I barely ate. My hands were trembling every time I tried to edit the video. Yes, video. I pulled the 4 screenshots I'd gotten from Ryan's phone. Added overlays that zoomed in on the creepy folder name, Cammy. Then I paired it with audio. Not mine. His. I remembered something from a year ago, Thanksgiving dinner. He'd offered to help set up the projector for my dad's anniversary video. He left his laptop open while transferring files. I'd plugged in my USB to load in a family slideshow. And like an idiot back then, I forgot to eject it safely. But it auto-copied all his transfers onto my flash. I never looked at it again. Until now. And guess what? There was an audio memo. Titled Voice Tone Test, MP3. I pressed play. And what did I hear? Ryan. Saying my name. Over. And over. And over. Cammy, say it slower. Cammy, Cam-mai, that's the one. It sounded clinical. Detached. Like he was practicing a script. I added it under the images. And I nearly threw up. I showed it to no one. Not yet. Because even with receipts, I had no allies. My mom had texted me earlier in the week. You know your sister's nervous, don't add stress. Right. Because her fiancé, possibly stalking me since childhood. Not stress. My reaction was the problem. My dad, radio silence. Tessa, my best friend, offered the only sentence I needed. I believe you, and I believe it's time. I booked a night at a hotel the night before the wedding. I didn't want to be in the same house as any of them. I barely slept. My stomach was a brick. But I had the USB. The video. The plan. I even printed a QR code, just in case someone tried to stop me midstream. The morning of the wedding, I showed up late. Everyone was smiling. Buzzing. Taking selfies. I wanted to scream. He saw me first. Ryan. Wearing an off-white suit and that half-smile smirk he always used when he thought he had control. Cammy, you made it. Wouldn't miss it. He leaned in like he was going to kiss my cheek. I pulled away. Don't touch me. He didn't flinch. Still playing that game. Still nomming folders after me. His face twitched. Just for a second. Then he walked away. The ceremony was boring. Melanie looked beautiful. I felt sad for her. Not because I wanted him, but because she was marrying her own blind spot. And no one deserved that. The reception started. Projector up. Screen waiting. I walked over to the tech guy, someone hired from the vineyard. Handed him my USB. Told him I had a personal surprise presentation from the family. And that Melanie loved surprises. He smiled. Plugged it in. I walked back to my seat. Waited. My hands were shaking. I texted Tessa. Now. The lights dimmed. Soft music started. And instead of Mel and Ryan's story, Cammy appeared in bold white letters on the screen. The silence in the room. Immediate. Then. Photo 1. Me in a red swimsuit, age 6. Zoom. Slow pan. Photo 2. A hallway camera still, timestamped 2:14 a.m. Photo 3. Ryan's voice. Cammy, say it slower, Cammy, Cam-mai. Someone gasped. Then someone else. The music stopped. The lights came up. Melanie stood up, face pale. What the fuck is this? Ryan was frozen. Not furious. Not defensive. Just calculating. Until finally, he stood and said the worst possible thing. She's been obsessed with me for years, you all know it. The room turned. On him. I stood up. Held up my phone. Pressed play on my voice memo, recorded secretly during our kitchen confrontation. You have photos of me. Of course, your family. You've been outside my apartment. I had to check on you. You've been unstable. It was over. Mel didn't cry. Not then. She just walked out. People followed. The reception ended before dinner was served. And I went back to my hotel, turned off my phone, and slept for 12 hours. For the first time in weeks, I wasn't shaking. You expect the truth to fix things, but sometimes it just breaks everything faster. When I woke up, my phone had over 80 missed calls. Half from my mom. Some from numbers I didn't recognize. One from my sister. No voicemail, just silence. I opened Instagram. The wedding hashtag was gone. The posts were archived. Ryan's account was deleted. People were DMing me things like, "Was that real? You're so brave." Holy shit, I was at that wedding. The room went cold. And yet, in the middle of it all, I was still waiting for one thing. Melanie. I didn't hear from her for 3 days. Not a call. Not a text. Not a knock on my door. And when she finally messaged, it was one line. Come over, alone. My chest went tight. I didn't know if she was going to slap me, scream, cry, or all three. But I went. Her apartment looked the same. Candles. Throw pillows. A framed photo of her and Ryan on the mantel, still there, still smiling. She opened the door with no makeup on and a red ring around her eyes that told me she hadn't slept much either. She didn't say hello. Just stepped aside. I walked in. We stood in the kitchen in silence. Then, how long? Since I met him. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I did, just not loud enough. She sat down at the table, held her coffee like it was the only thing grounding her to this planet. I feel like I've been living in a rom-com that someone turned into a horror movie halfway through. I nodded. I think he always planned to get close to our family. But why you? I hesitated. Because I knew why. And saying it out loud made my skin crawl. Because I was the one who didn't fall for it. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just shrank. And for the first time since all this started, I felt something I wasn't prepared for. Guilt. Not for what I'd done, but for the way I delivered it. A public takedown. At her wedding. In front of everyone. Sure, it was deserved. But still, she was collateral. Then she said something I'll never forget. I wanted to hate you for what you did. But I hate that I almost married someone who wanted to be you more than love me. And there it was. The twist I didn't see coming. It was never about me. Not really. It was about control. And Ryan had found 2 sisters, one who loved him and one who never would. And he needed both. Melanie stood up, walked to the mantel, took the framed photo, shattered it on the corner of the table, didn't flinch at the glass. I want you to know you didn't ruin my wedding. She looked at me. You saved my life. The next day, I received an email. From an address I didn't recognize. No name. Just a subject line. She wasn't the first. Attached. A zip file. I stared at it for 10 full minutes before I opened it. Inside were screenshots. Chats. DMs. Other girls. Younger. Some even minors at the time. One message was to a girl named Ava. You remind me of someone I used to know, so soft, so trusting. Another worse. She doesn't know I keep her photos, I just like to remember. And then, a selfie. Of me. Taken from a camera angle I didn't recognize. From a public place. Maybe a cafe. Maybe a restaurant. Timestamp 2019. He'd been watching me for years. Before Melanie. Before the family. Before we even knew him. I sent it all to a lawyer. They said it could build a harassment case. Maybe even stalking. But they warned me. The internet doesn't always care about nuance, and he hasn't technically crossed certain lines. Right. Because we wait until they do something, even if they've been watching for years. So I didn't go legal, yet. Instead, I went public. I posted the screenshots. No names. Just stories. I called it. The folder isn't just mine. The video blew up. And suddenly, it wasn't about me anymore. It was about all of us. Girls who were photographed, watched, saved like souvenirs. Ryan disappeared. Deactivated everything. Rumors said he moved to another state. But I didn't care anymore. Because this time, the silence wasn't mine. It was his. And I'd finally made sure of that. They call it going viral. But no one tells you that sometimes the attention feels just as violating as what got you there. The night the video hit 1 million views, I sat on the edge of my bathtub in the dark, still fully dressed, just holding my phone. I should have felt powerful. Victorious. Safe. Instead, I felt watched. Again. But this time by everyone. My DMs were flooded. Some were beautiful, other survivors sharing their stories, strangers saying thank you, women saying, I thought I was crazy until I saw this. But others, less kind. Why would he want you anyway? Sounds like you're jealous of your sister. You probably like the attention. And the worst one. You made this up for clout. Hope your family sees what a drama queen you are. I didn't respond. Didn't block. Just read and let them collect like cuts in the same spot. Even the support started to feel heavy. People calling me a hero. An advocate. The face of creep survival. And maybe that sounds flattering, but I didn't choose this. I didn't want to be anyone's face. I just wanted someone to believe me. Now, I was a hashtag. Melanie and I texted, but we weren't talking much. She needed space. I understood, but I could feel the silence growing between us again. I knew she was grieving. Not for Ryan, but for the version of her life she thought she was building. The wedding albums that wouldn't be filled. The dreams she had to rip out by the roots. And I felt guilty. Like I'd set the fire, even though I didn't light the match. One night, I heard a sound at my apartment door. Check the peephole. Nothing. Went outside. On the floor was a photo. Of me. From high school. Folded in half. No note. No envelope. Just placed there. My stomach dropped. I knew it was him. Or someone trying to be him. Or someone trying to scare me into shutting up. It worked for a minute. I stayed in bed for 2 days. Didn't post. Didn't reply. Didn't eat much. When I finally got the courage to file a report, the officer nodded politely. You don't have proof he put that there. Right. Because that's how this always works. They say he didn't touch you. They say he hasn't threatened you. They say you should be careful not to escalate it. Like my existence is the escalation. I told Tessa. She offered to stay over. I said no. I didn't want anyone seeing me this raw. This afraid. Because even after the wedding, even after the receipts, the video, the emails, I still felt like the creepy one. Like it was my shame. Like I was the problem. Like I'd ruined everything. But then 3 days later, I got a package. Inside, a framed photo. Of my sister and me. Age 7 and 11. Covered in glitter. Clearly handmade. And a note. In Mel's handwriting. You didn't ruin the wedding. You saved the only relationship that mattered. I cried so hard I gave myself a migraine. But it cracked something open in me. Because that was the reminder I needed. That I wasn't alone. That I hadn't imagined any of it. That the fallout wasn't a punishment, it was a purge. So I got up, washed my face, pulled out my laptop, and opened a blank doc. Title: This is what creepy looks like. And I started to write. Not for TikTok. Not for views. Not for validation. But for her, the girl in that red swimsuit at age 6, the one no one listened to, the one he kept in a folder, the one who finally got to speak. The day I stopped hiding wasn't the day I felt brave. It was the day I realized hiding was the only thing keeping him powerful. The essay wasn't pretty. It wasn't poetic. It was blunt. I wrote it like I was bleeding through the keyboard. Every word was a wound someone else had tried to tell me wasn't real. I titled it, "I Was the Girl in His Folder." And when I hit publish on Medium, I didn't expect much. Maybe a few shares. Maybe some support from the survivor community. Instead, it blew up in a matter of hours. Journalists reached out. Big ones. BuzzFeed. Vice. Even a podcast host I followed religiously DM'd me with, "We've been looking for someone to speak about digital fixation and soft stalking. Would you consider coming on?" I froze, because that meant going fully public. No hiding behind usernames. No alias. My face, my voice, my story. I took a breath. Typed back, "Yes, let's talk." The podcast dropped a week later. Titled, "When the Folder Finds You, A Sister's Wedding, a Digital Shrine, and One Woman's Fight to Be Believed." It went viral. Again. But this time, it felt different. This time, I wasn't reacting. I was driving. I was taking my story and making it more than content. I was making it a movement. Messages poured in. Again. But now they said, "This happened to me too." I never had proof, but I always knew. "Thank you for saying it first." And then, a message request from a woman named Ivy. She said, "He dated my sister in college. She dumped him after he kept photos of her little cousin. No one believed us either." She attached screenshots. Same tone. Same creepy emoji combos. Same nicknames. This wasn't just about me. It wasn't just about Melanie. He was a pattern. With Ivy and a few others, we formed a small survivor network. We collected stories. We compared timelines. One of the girls, Madison, had already filed a police report 2 years ago. Nothing came of it. But now she had backup. Now she had us. I wrote a follow-up article. We were the archive, he was the curator. In it, I didn't just tell my story. I told theirs with their permission. I didn't just call out Ryan. I called out the culture that teaches women to dismiss their instincts unless there's a headline-level crime. I got invited to speak at a women's safety conference, and then a university, and then another. It wasn't all easy. People still said horrible things in my comments. Some tried to fact-check my pain. One guy said, "She's making it up to go viral." I didn't reply, but Melanie did. She posted our childhood photo, the one Ryan had kept, and wrote, "My sister saved me. And maybe now she's saving other people too." If that makes her viral, then good. Let the whole world catch it. Ryan never resurfaced. There were whispers that he left the country, that he was under investigation, that his family cut ties. I didn't care, because his silence was all the confession I needed. And now, it was my voice that echoed. Not his. I created a site, NotYourFolder.org, a digital space for girls who were watched, collected, saved, silenced. We offer resources. We amplify stories. We remind each other that creepy doesn't always come with a knife. It sometimes comes with a smile and a JPEG file. I look in the mirror now and I see her. Not just the woman I've become, but the little girl in the red swimsuit. The one with scraped knees and a gap-toothed grin. And I whisper to her, "You weren't crazy, you were collected. But now, you're released." I used to think silence meant safety. Now I know it only ever kept the monsters comfortable. It's been 6 months since the wedding. Funny to call it that now. We still refer to it in my family as the event. Melanie calls it the reveal. And I just call it mine. Because even though I wasn't the one getting married, even though I wasn't the one walking down the aisle, that day, I reclaimed my entire story. There's a strange kind of peace that comes when no one can use your truth against you anymore. Not because they stopped trying, but because you stopped caring. I used to replay every moment, every comment, every look, every time I didn't speak up. Now I just breathe through them. Because they were never shame. They were signs. And I finally stopped gaslighting myself out of them. Melanie and I are closer now than we've ever been. Not because it's easy, but because it's honest. We don't fake smiles. We don't avoid hard conversations. We show up. Raw. Unfiltered. Safe. She's in therapy. She's rebuilding her life. She's even dating again, slowly, carefully, with better eyes. And me. I'm writing. Still speaking. Still building Not Your Folder into something bigger than I ever imagined. We've helped 14 women press charges so far. We've educated schools on digital grooming. We've partnered with a trauma-informed design team to help survivors scrub their online traces. Because creeps don't just leave bruises anymore. They leave bookmarks. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and panic. For no reason. No sound. No shadow. Just that old anxiety tapping on my ribs. But I breathe. Touch my phone. Not to scroll. Just to remind myself. This is where I speak now. Not where they spy. I still have the folder. The original USB. Every photo. Every voice note. Every screenshot. I don't open it anymore. But I don't delete it either. Because maybe one day I'll need it. Not for me. For someone else. For another Cammy who's being told she's just being sensitive. And I'll hand her the proof. And I'll say, you're not crazy. You're collected. But girl, you're about to go viral for the right damn reason. I end most of my talks with the same line now. If he names a folder after you, don't hide. Project it. And the applause I get. It's not for the drama. It's for the release. Because we're not just scared anymore. We're organized. I still wear the red swimsuit sometimes. The adult version. Different body. Same soul. And when I look in the mirror, I see her. And I smile. Because she's not trapped anymore. She's on display. By choice. And the only folder she's in now is the one I open myself. With my name. In bold. No emojis. Just this. Unbreakable. Subscribe to my Mia's Stories YouTube channel for raw, emotional stories and authentic insights that encourage healing, growth, and understanding. Don't forget to be part of a supportive space where stories inspire and lessons resonate. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion truly matters to us, and we're here for you.